Welcome to Better Today with Alex Merced, where we talk about improving your life by working on your relationships, knowledge, skills, and health. By allocating your time to development, maintenance, and leisure of those things. If you enjoy the show, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/AlexMerced. Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced and you're listening to Better Today, where we talk about every week about how to live better today. Now, this week I want to focus on finances and basically the idea that you want to build your nest egg. There's a lot of ways to build your nest egg, and I'm not a financial advisor. So right now I'm currently not a licensed, even though I do train licensed financial advisors, I am not one. And for you to ever have a sort of proper financial plan, you would need to sit down and discuss your particular situation, your risk tolerance, your time horizon with an actual licensed financial advisor for them to create a plan that's suitable for you. So anything I talk about here is commentary, thoughts on things that I think make a good financial plan for myself and things that maybe you want to take into consideration. But again, when putting together a financial plan, it doesn't hurt to talk to a licensed individual who's licensed to give you advice. Okay, and basically to me at the end of the day, planning your finances isn't always about just making more money. There's different goals you want to achieve. There's a certain level of stability you want to have, certainty you want to have in your life, which a lot of people will criticize buying insurance policies saying, oh, well, those aren't going to make you much money, but you don't really buy insurance to make you money. It's about certainty. And there's a certain worth and value to certainty in your life. For example, when you buy car insurance, that gives you a little certainty that if you have a car accident, your life's not going to be ruined, because if you didn't have car insurance and you're liable for the accident, you'd be basically losing everything. You'd have to probably sell your house, sell your car, all sorts of different things in order to pay the liabilities you will have from that accident. But with car insurance, you have the certainty that's probably not going to be the case. And it's worth it. That ease of mind allows you to be willing to drive more, which allows you to do more with your life. So that's why I do think there is a strong, insurance plays a strong part in a solid sort of financial foundation, because there are unexpected situations in life and you want to be prepared for them. So generally, the way it works out, there's lots of different types of insurance policies, but some of the main ones that you buy in life are life insurance, so that way in case something happens to you. And the younger you get, there's different types of life insurance policies. There's term life insurance policies, which basically only last a certain amount of years. So let's say 20 years. And if you don't die within those 20 years, you get nothing. So you paid for nothing. There's no value beyond the actual death benefit, the money that's paid out when you die. But it's the cheapest. And then there's whole life insurance policy, where here you lock in a little bit more expensive a premium for the coverage. But the idea is you've locked in that price, because with term life insurance, when that 20 years is up, let's say, and you need to get a new term life policy, it's going to be much more expensive because you're older, so the probability of you dying is greater. So if you buy a whole policy, you lock in that premium for the rest of your life. And on top of it, that whole life policy builds up what's called the cash value, which is an actual value in cash that you could pull out if you ever need to. Doesn't necessarily mean you should, unless you really, really need to. But you have that cash value, which is nice. Now, a couple of things to be aware of when buying life insurance is that, the younger you buy it, the better deal you're going to get. The reason being, you're less likely to die, you'll be paying more into it over the life of the policy, so that means you get that cheaper premium today. So buying a whole life policy when you're younger does save you money as far as a monthly premium goes, which will allow you to buy more coverage. Because keep in mind, hopefully one day you'll find someone you love, you'll start a family. You're going to want to make sure that if something happens to you, your family's going to be provided for. And that's kind of the reason why you buy life insurance. But when you're younger, you're not necessarily making as much money, so you can't necessarily buy as much whole life insurance as you'd like. So there is a role for buying term life insurance, because once you buy insurance, you can convert it back and forth. So if you buy a little bit of whole life insurance, but buy some term life insurance, because what happens is that, let's say you get cancer and they cure it and you're in remission and all that stuff, it's great. But once you've had cancer once, it becomes really difficult for you to get life insurance, if not impossible for you to get life insurance. So if you've already bought your life insurance before such an incident, you're good. And if you bought term life insurance and you want more whole, you can just convert the term you already have into whole without having to go for another health checkup, without having to worry about being denied. So that's why there's a value in buying some term in case you need more whole later, because you never know, again, what's going to come up in life. But when you're younger, what's more likely to happen is you're going to become disabled. Not that you're going to, but you're more likely to become disabled than die when you're younger. You're more physically active, things happen. So what you do is you could also buy disability insurance. You can also get a rider on your life insurance that basically says that you can also get cashed out if you become disabled or terminally ill, if you need to. But again, just keep in mind, whenever you add a rider to an insurance contract, the premium does become higher. Nothing's free. So just a little bit of life. I think life insurance is important because it gives you that certainty that if something happens, no one's going to be stuck with the burdens of any debts you have, of anything that you have outstanding student loans, outstanding mortgages. You just don't have to worry about it. You die, those things get paid off. Anyone you care about is not stuck with your burdens. But even before that, what I would do is probably get 6 months worth of savings. So calculate conservatively what you think you can survive, what you need per month to pay your bills, survive, and leave a decent quality of life. Okay? And give yourself a realistic number. This is how much money I need every month. And then whatever that money is, you want to save that up times 6. The reason being is that if you ever become unemployed, yes, there's unemployment insurance, but unemployment insurance lasts 6 months. Now, what if finding a job becomes a little bit more difficult than you expected and you need a little bit more time? Well, it's good to have that savings in there so that way you buy yourself another 6 months. You have the flexibility to basically take a year to figure out what you're going to do with your life, because you don't necessarily want to rush to the next job either. You want to find a job that is going to be, where you'll be happy, or start your own business, or whatever it is. You want to make sure that it's good for you. You don't want to rush. And having that flexibility, having that savings gives you that ability for those unexpected moments. So with your 6 months of savings, along with your life insurance policy, you have certainty that in the short run, if you get stuck in some weird economic situation, you have savings to take care of you. If something happens to you and you die, your life insurance will make sure that your burdens get paid off. At that point, you're free to take risk. You can take all the risk you want in the world without worrying about your life falling apart. Okay, so now this is where investing in the market comes along. And there's different ways to do this. You can pick your own stocks, which can be risky. Stocks go up, stocks go down, and it can sometimes be very unpredictable. Or you can let your money be managed. And there are a lot of great, what's called robo-advisors, that are out there nowadays that I've been using that help me kind of automatically save. So there's things like Betterment. They automatically allocate your portfolio. So you just put money in and it just puts it away for you. Puts it in the market, does what it needs to do with it. You choose how much risk you want to take, and it just kind of does it automatically. And I set it up, little bit amount, like $20 a week. But that way something's being saved. Another tool that I use is Acorns. What Acorns does is that every time you swipe your credit card, let's say you spend $5.35, it rounds up to the next dollar, which would be 65 cents, from 35 to $1. So then it keeps track of all these roundups until you hit a certain dollar amount that you set, and then it deposits that money into your Acorns account and invests it in the market. And this way you're not even thinking about saving. So every time you're swiping your credit card, the more you spend, the more you save. Not that you should spend more, but the idea is that it's kind of like forcing you to save. And you build up little bit amounts of money here and there without you even noticing by having these sort of automatic withdrawal situations. There are other apps that help you, like Tip Yourself, where it kind of encourages you to set a goal and then put money towards that goal. There's a new one that I haven't tried out yet that I'm going to try out, that what it does is as you save money, you get entries into sort of a lottery, which you can win more money. So you're not paying for lottery tickets, you're just rewarded with lottery tickets for saving money. And, every once in a while, you may win the lottery, and that is awesome. So there's a lot of cool new startups that are trying to make it easier for you to save. And generally, they're involved in putting your money in the market. Your money shouldn't just be put into securities in the market as well. Diversify. So, while Bitcoins and gold are volatile assets, and I wouldn't put all your money in either of them, it doesn't hurt to have some exposure. So think about what's a small portion of your wealth that you'd be okay with losing. Okay, if worse came to worse, and get an account at Gold Money. Gold Money is a basically what you do is you save your money in gold, just like a normal savings account, and you actually get a debit card that you can use to spend the gold as if you were spending anything else. Now, you get some, if you decide you do want to sign up for Gold Money, you can get some extra gold for signing up for your account if you use my link. So if you go to libertydeal.info, click on the Gold Money section, there's a link, you click on that, you sign up, you get a little extra gold with your first deposit. And with Bitcoin, same thing. There's a BitPay. Now, the BitPay wallet, which is a smartphone app, well, you can set that up with a Visa card so that way you can spend your Bitcoin like you spend cash. But what you can do is you can buy your Bitcoin through Coinbase. And if you sign up to Coinbase, again through my link, you get a little bit extra Bitcoin when you buy some Bitcoin. So this way you can sort of maximize your savings. Again, do not put the majority of your wealth in gold or Bitcoin. But again, never a bad idea to have a diversified holding. So a little bit of your money in gold, a little bit of your money in the market, a little bit of money in Bitcoin, a little bit of money going towards life insurance policies, a little bit of money going to your savings. You want to have a diversified financial life. So that way you're prepared for different situations. You benefit from different trends going on in the world because everything is constantly changing in prices. And then eventually you may buy a house, you may buy other properties. There's all sorts of different places to put your money, and this is why you want to talk to a licensed financial planner.